Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Jen, the artist behind North Star Pyrography. If you saw my video last week, then you know I'm doing a small mini-series where each week I show you what it's like to burn on a different type of wood. This week, I'm going to be showing you what it's like to burn on pine. A lot of people don't really like pine, they have a lot of trouble with it, but I think pine is one that you really just got to take your time with and don't use a lot of pressure and you can get some really great results. Here we go. So here we have pine. It's just a plaque that I got at the craft store. I like it because it's got a lot of loose grain in it, so it's easier to work with. You can get a lot of smooth shading and stuff in there. I'm going to start with using this tip. I just made this one for my razor tip. So I'm just going to do some lines. Sorry, my shadow is probably going to be in the way here. But sometimes you get like the ridges, and I know they can get really annoying. I find you get the ridges a lot if you push too hard. I'm trying to show here without bending my tip. The way to get around that, you just have to go slow. And if you do hit a grain that's especially hard, just take your time going over that to even it out. So this is just my spear shader. I use it a lot for doing straight lines. You get some really great lines on the pine. This here is my small shader. So I'll just... You can get some really nice shading on pine if you just go slow at it. Depending on the piece of wood again, if it's got really hard grain in it or if the grain's a little bit softer, might make it look a little different. And again, this is the one I also use for fir. You can get some really nice fir texture on the pine here. And I do find with the pine you can get some really great detail. If you turn up your heat on your pens, you can get some really great texture on the pine as well. This is my teardrop shader. It looks like a little iron or a teardrop. Again, with the shading, you can get really great shading on the pine because it's a softer wood. You just gotta go a little bit slower. So you can get really smooth shading. Even over the grains. Again, you just gotta take your time. Here I've got my ball tip, and this wood takes stippling pretty well. Sometimes when you get to a grain and you try and stipple, your pen might shift over the grain, like slide over it, and it can be kind of annoying. So I usually try and do my stippling along the grain first, and then I'll stipple around it. There's the ridges again, but I'm also pushing quite hard too. And that goes for any type of wood with hard grain in it. If you take your time going over it, the less likely you are to get those ridges. You can actually get amazing results on pine. And then I'll flip it over here. On the back, here's some watercolor I've done. So you can see how it takes watercolor. It bleeds a little bit, so you just gotta watch how you're putting it on, how much water you're using and stuff. This has also all been clear coated, so it didn't really make much of a change. And then you can see like I've done some fur in that here. I did like a little eye, and it does really well. You gotta take your time on it. And the wood is usually found everywhere, so it's a really good starting option for some people as well. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again next week.